Hello and welcome to OceansMap. On the left hand side we have our data tools. On the bottom is the time slider. On the top right, additional tools. We'll start with the data layers list. This tool lists all the available data layers that are displayable on the map. They're organized into data parameter. The user can search and filter this list. So if we turn on Atlantic wave height, that data will load in. The magnifying glass will zoom the map to the extents of the data. The gear will allow the user to change the settings of the data, so we can auto scale the color range, and the eye pulls up additional information about the data. The virtual station tool allows the user to add pins on the map. They can add several at once, or import a CSV file, or export the group they just made. The traffic light tool allows the user to create a spatial layer on the map that will display either green, yellow, or red based on the rules set by the user. So if we select Atlantic wave height, set the low to the default of 1 meter and the high to 2 meters, we can add a second layer using wind. So I'll find NOAA's global wind. We'll set the high to 20 meters per second and the low to 15. I can save that data layer and you can see the traffic light layer loaded in. So green is where both these rules were met, and yellow is where at least one fell within the yellow range. For now, I'll turn this layer off. The custom layers tool allows the user to create a shape on the map and save and edit that shape. The validation tool allows the user to validate model data compared to observation data. So I'll stick with the theme of wave height, and we'll use the Nantucket station, select Atlantic wave height, and keep the date range as the default, and OceansMap pulls up the error statistics of the model versus measured data with a scatter plot and an apples to apples wave height comparison plot. And the user can export this data to analyze further. The base map tool allows the user to change the base map that's displaying on the map. So I change this to the satellite view. After refreshing the page, we can show the compare mode tool. So in order to do this, we'll turn on Atlantic wave height and NOAA's Gulf of Maine currents layer. So going into the compare mode tool and activating this, it'll open a slider on the map. So this slider can be turned on or off. It can be set to vertical or horizontal. The data layer showing on the map can be set to either the entire map or one half of the map. And setting it to either side will allow the user to display one of the two data layers depending where the slider is. The user can customize the active time on the left and right hand side of the map, as well as the elevation if it's a 3D data layer. So this is powerful as it allows the user to compare two different data layers, or they could even compare the same data layer at different times or different elevations. So for now, I'll turn the compare tool off and we'll go down to the time slider. The play button here will animate the data over a period of time. This left arrow is back an hour, the right arrow is forward an hour. The active time tool allows the user to select the date and time, which is showing the data on the map. And the calendar tool will allow the user to customize the range on the slider on the bottom of the screen. On the top right here, we have our active layer legend, which gives the color scale for each layer shown on the map. The zoom to box selection tool allows the user to zoom to a specific area. The measure distance tool measures the distance between 2 points. The hover tooltip tool will load in data as the user is hovering on the map, so they don't need to click on the map to open a specific drawer. This is good for quickly showing data in a specific location or multiple locations. The screenshot tool allows the user to create a screenshot which they can either save or print, which shows the current view of the map with the layers and the legend open. The Share This View permalink tool will create a customized URL depending on the user's view of the map and the layers they have open. So this link here can be saved and pasted into a new browser, and what will happen is OceansMap will open to that specific scenario that the user last had open on the map. This tool can be customized, so if the user unchecks map, the current map view will be set to the default. Units can be saved, time, elevation, data layers, virtual stations, traffic light layers, custom layers, and scenario layers. The elevation slider here on the right hand side becomes available when the user activates a 3D layer. So for instance, this current layer is a 3D layer. So if the user selects a point on the map and checks the 3D currents data here, the bottom drawer will show a time series plot of the data of the currents at that specific location, and the plot on the left hand side will open a vertical profile plot showing the currents at different depths at that specific location. And if the user would like to visualize the data at a different depth, they can do so by selecting a point on this depth slider. The last area is this drop down in the top right. So this is where users can contact us, see the privacy policy about, and set the units from metric to imperial or vice versa. So thank you for listening in. Appreciate all the time.